Sophie Atherton was the UK's first female beer sommelier and now runs talks, tastings and events all across the country. She's only come across a few women who've told her they just don't like beer, which she accepts but reckons it's much more likely they just haven't found one they love.
It's not my mission in life to convert women to beer, but I don't want women to miss out on beer, and it does make me a little bit sad that there might be some women who think that they don't like beer and they just haven't met a beer that they really like and tasted a beer they really like.
And it's at the pub where Sophie came across an issue she believes only arose because she's a woman. I asked Sophie about a phrase she'd made up on her blog and whether she thinks there's still that problem with pubs today. Would you say that, to use a term you've coined yourself, the invisible woman at the bar syndrome is prevalent still today in pub culture?
What you've asked about is, it was a blog that I'd written, like you say, it was a while ago, and I went into a pub that was my local. Not a local I actually patronise much because they don't have a lot of great beer on, which is a whole other story. And I walked in that night and there was a guy at the bar waiting already, and I was waiting for my husband, I think, to come in. And she was serving this guy, and then she didn't make eye contact with me. This was the woman behind the bar, the bartender. She didn't make eye contact with me. And then when my husband walked in, she immediately turned to him and said, "How can I help you?" And I've been quite well brought up, so I didn't say anything really rude to her, but it really, really, really annoyed me. But I wrote about it probably because it stood out and it wasn't something that was commonplace.
Sophie told me her sessions are great at completely busting the myth that women only like sweet beers or pale beers, and she gets annoyed that beer is marketed to women this way. So I thought I'd ask her about a new type of beer, one which has a very strong message behind its branding. Now, in the past, you've said no to lady lagers. What about feminist beers?
I quite like the idea of a feminist beer, really. If you taking feminism as being meaning that men and women should be treated equally, and throwing away gender stereotypes relating to beer, and certainly that sort of nasty sexist marketing that comes with some beers. So if that's a feminist beer, it's gender neutral. I like the idea of that. I think it's great. I think the trouble with promoting something as a feminist beer is you're kind of straying into the same territory.
At the end of the day, what Sophie really wants from the beer world is something that'd probably get a thumbs up from everyone.
I would love to think that one day we would reach a time where people didn't think women had to behave a certain way. I would like to think that was true not just of the beer world, but the whole world. We're not there yet, but it doesn't have to be a massive fight and a massive battle. We can be good-humoured about it and kind of knock it back with good humour, but still, if we find really out-and-out sexism in the beer world, still tackle it and make sure it's clear to those who are doing it that it's unacceptable, and frankly, it's stupid if you want more women, half the population, to drink beer.